Sick, opaque black liquid is violently rushing out of a bathroom faucet, pooling over a 17-year-old boy's shaking hands. The porcelain tiles surrounding him are emitting a high-pitched, physical scream. On the other side of that locked door, his parents are waiting. His mother knocks gently, believing she is speaking to a teenager having a difficult morning. His father stands nearby, unaware that the son he knows is currently trapped in a sensory nightmare. Inside, the boy rejects the idea that this is a metaphor or a symptom of anxiety. He is clinical in his observations. He notes the exact pitch of the screaming tiles, and the way the water on his hands is undeniably, objectively black. This forces us to ask a terrifying question. How does the human brain construct a flawless, hostile, alternate reality that overrides all physical evidence of the real world? A slight pause, shifting to a more analytical tone. A psychological break is horrifying because it removes the monsters from under the bed and puts them in the wiring of the mind. It severs the victim's mind from the shared consensus of human reality. This break began 3 months ago, starting not with a sudden snap, but with a slow, creeping detachment from social structures. At school, the boy began noticing that his classmates seemed off. Their laughter followed rigid patterns. Their eye movements were too coordinated. His brain took everyday human behavior and reinterpreted it as a mechanical, practiced performance. This feeling of hyper-awareness is a cognitive trap. The brain convinces the host that they alone can hear a hidden frequency, rendering every other student in the cafeteria a participant in a silent conspiracy. Eventually, the mind projects this internal paranoia into the physical world. A crumpled note provides the tangible evidence his mind requires to justify its fear. This social alienation serves as a foundational step. This isolation creates a vacuum where no outside logic can reach the alternate reality. The paranoia eventually shifts from the school hallway to the family kitchen, targeting the most intimate psychological bonds. Sensory errors escalate. Shadows in the peripheral vision harden into distinct anomalies. He smells metallic copper and organic rot, scents that remain even when scrubbed away. Then he sees his mother's face split open along the seams like a zipper, revealing a featureless white mask. This is the Capgras delusion, a failure of the brain to connect facial recognition with emotional response, leading the victim to believe their loved ones have been replaced by imposters. Rewriting his mother as a threat severs his final emotional anchor to the real world. With the external environment fully compromised, the delusion turns inward. The brain introduces somatic hallucinations, false physical sensations occurring inside the boy's own body. He feels insects crawling through his veins and burrowing into his organs. His own physical frame is no longer safe territory. Looking at this diagram of a nervous system, we can visualize the psychological split. While the blue pathways represent normal function, the brain partitions off its own thoughts, generating a parasitic red network that acts like a hostile internal voice. As this network takes hold, the boy begins to hear his own thoughts played back to him, mired in a distorted version of his father's voice. This internal roommate suggests his food is poisoned, using a familiar authority figure to finalize the external parasite illusion. This somatic takeover is the mind's victory. The boy's body is now occupied territory, leaving him with nowhere to hide. We return to the present moment. The boy is collapsed on the bathroom floor, waiting for the parasite to finally break through his skin. He is paralyzed. Outside the door, his parents are panicking. They can hear him whispering to the walls, and the sound of his father trying the knob grows more frantic. The father uses a hammer to splinter the door. At this moment, the subjective nightmare and the objective tragedy of the family situation violently intersect. The parents rush in to reach their son, but through the boy's eyes, their faces are masks. His brain has been rewired to see their concern as the final threat in a long-planned conspiracy. The intervention is a failure. The parasite delivers its final message, the absolute validation of his terror. The logic loop has closed itself off from all outside reasoning. Reality is a fragile biological consensus. When a human mind unilaterally rewrites the script, there is no physical force and no loved one that can save the victim from the screaming tiles.